from Stampin'Up. Welcome back to my craft room. It's great having you back, and I am looking forward to making this card with you. This is going to be a very fun project because I am actually going to be showing you how to make your own calendars. Now, last year I made these little calendars on my YouTube channel, and the link for that should be up at the top right hand corner. But I had to buy these calendars, and yeah, it's great, it's got the year and all the rest of it, but I can make my own now. Now, I must admit, I have been hanging out to purchase this stamp set. It's called Days to Remember. It's been around a couple of years already, and I just haven't got to using it, or even actually not using it, sorry, haven't got to purchasing it. And I decided to grab it when Stampin'Up had its 15% off stamps the other day, and I did. And I do just want to give credit to Jeanette Cobb for giving such clear instructions as to how to use it, because when I opened it up, I was like, oh my word, how am I going to use this stamp set? So I popped online and researched and found her very helpful tutorial, and I'll be condensing that for you today so that you can get the benefit of this Days to Remember stamp set. I cheated a little bit with the background note paper. I just wanted to see how that would look if you used ordinary diary paper, but today I am going to use the gorgeously made die to create that, and we're going to use it on basic white. And then these floral stamps came from Courage and Faith, and they are around the bottom there. Okay, so there's quite a lot happening in this card, but it's not that difficult. Oh, and the papers, the designer series papers, and the background, we're also going to use the gorgeously made dies to cut those. So shall we get started? So for this card, I'm sticking with blues again, and I've cut my Night of Navy in 5.5 by 4.25, sorry, scored at, hang on, try that again, 5.5 by 8.25, scored at 4 1/8, and that is going to form the base for our card. Then the basic white, you're going to cut out a piece of cardstock that will be big enough to fit on here, and I basically took the same 4.25 by 5.5, and I used the die from the gorgeously made die set, and I placed it right on the end, and I die cut it to create this beautiful background. So we're going to be using that to stamp on a little later. But right now I want to show you how to use this Days to Remember stamp set. Now for this, I have used my Stamparatus. Unfortunately, Stampin'Up retired the Stamparatus at the end of April when the catalog retired. If you have the Stamparatus, it will be very helpful for you. If you haven't, you can still use the same instructions that I'm going to be giving. You'll just need to use your clear blocks to do that. So you're going to need a piece of basic white cardstock cut at 5.5, 4 1/4. This is template A. You're going to need a piece of vellum cut at 5.5 by 4 1/4, and that is template B. And then you'll need a piece of basic white cardstock cut at 5.5 by 4 1/4, and that is going to be the cardstock that you're going to stamp on. And while mine is in half, you can fit two calendars out of that one piece of 5.5. So I've actually effectively just got the half, which is what we'll be using today. On your template A, you need to place your basic white cardstock into the corner of your Stamparatus if you are marking it. If you are using it, and you need to mark that with a pencil in half at 2 1/8. And then you need to make another measurement at 1/2 inch on the long side, and a third measurement 7/8. Sorry, my apologies. So we've got 2 1/8. Let's try that again. We've got 1/2 inch, 7/8 of an inch, and then 1 1/4. And this is going to be the halfway mark where you're placing the month that you want to stamp, and you're going to use that pencil line in the middle of your month, whatever that is. August, it's the G, but I'm making sure all my letters are lining up to that pencil line. And then the days of the week I've selected, because there actually are 2 ways. Let me show you. Stampin' Up provided a Monday to Sunday or a Sunday to Saturday, and I've gone with the Saturday to Sunday. And you need to get those that they lined up onto that second line. All right, so your month will be changing depending on what we're using, but I'm going to make it August. And then you need to flip over your Stamparatus and line up your month, your days, to come just under that very first, that last pencil line. And then you're going to bring in, let me just move this template out the way, your vellum, but you are running the vellum on the long side. You're going to place it into the corner, and then using Memento Black, let me just bring that in, ink up all the days and then ink it onto your vellum. And I will be showing you very soon why we need template B. So you've got template A and template B. Now let me demonstrate how this works. So you're going to place the long side of your cardstock that you want to stamp on into that corner over here. I'm going to turn this around so that I've got my August, and I'm just going to make sure it's correct. And I'm going to put a stamp set underneath, and hopefully you'll be able to see it there. And I didn't show you the colors that we're working with today. So the colors are Boho Blue, Misty Moonlight, and Night of Navy. And I'm going to use Night of Navy to ink up my days and the month. And then I'm just going to bring this over and press that down firmly. And the big thing with this project is you want to make sure you clean off that stamp straight away. Now flipping this calendar over to the days, I just want to get this into the camera for you to see. I'm now bringing my vellum template over, and I know that for August, if I just bring mine back, today, or the 1st of August, which is actually today, I am recording this on the 1st of August, it's a Tuesday. So I'm now going to place my template, just get that out the way. Okay, so I need to make sure that this is in place. Oops, pulling it away. And I want the Tuesday needs to come under the 1st. As you can see here, the 6th and the 7th on this side are surplus to needs, because I want the 6th and the 7th to come up there. So what that means is that when I bring over this portion to stamp, I don't want the 6th and the 7th being inked, and I don't want the 5th, and that's where I'm going to use a post-it note. So the 5, 6, and 7, if I'm looking at my, sorry, let's have a look closely. 4, 5, 4 and 5, 2, 3, 4, and 5 on that template I don't want. So 2, 3, 4, and 5. I am going to cover up with a post-it note and mask that off. I don't want these 6s and 7s, so I'm just going to ink this up. And of course, if August were to have, like September has 30 days, I would just make sure that I wipe off the day that I don't need. So I'm going to remove my post-it note, remove my template, just bring everything into the camera so that you can see. And I'm looking to make sure that it's all inked, and I'm going to press down firmly. What I didn't mention was that I've actually got a foam mat under the grid paper because I am working with photopolymer stamps, and the same process would work if you had your clear blocks. You would still need a foam mat under that. All right, let's release and see how we did. Absolutely perfect. I love it. So I'm just going to clean this off, and I do suggest that you keep this template A, B, and A in your stamp set so that you can use them going forward. All right, we will come back and I'm going to trim that shortly, but now I just want to earmark a date. And I'm going to earmark the 25th. And the 25th of August is very special. It is my birthday. So I'm just going to do that in boho blue. But not only is it my birthday, but I share my birthday with our youngest grandson. Isn't that special? And it'll be his first birthday this year. So it'll be the first time in my life that I actually am sharing my birthday with a family member. It's just so cool. Okay, now I'm going to trim off 1/2 inch on both sides of the paper, and then we are going to adhere that to a mat. All right, so I've just cut a mat, and I'll have all the measurements for you on the screen. I was just looking for my silicone craft sheet. This is going to behave. My glue's been misbehaving the whole morning. All right, so I'm just going to adhere this onto my mat. Great, like so. And I'm now going to start putting this card together. Okay, so I've got this bit here going over here. And what I did was I cut out some strips of designer series paper from the Cottage, I think it's called the Cottage. I'll pop the label on for you on the video. I used this die that creates like a, looks like they've been torn, and I'm just going to assemble my pieces together. I might just go like this, darkest to lightest. When I was learning to quilt many years ago, I remember learning that I've just done the wrong side. Okay, well, we'll turn that around then, and it's going to go like this. Not what I wanted to do, but that's okay. And then let's just avoid making the same mistake. Just put some glue on there and lightest in here. Okay. Let's just bring that mat in. Of course, you can just tear it. You don't have to use the fancy. And that's just a little bit longer. So I'm just going to cut that back. Looking for my scissors. So let's just have a look how much I want off that. I'm breaking all my rules today. Usually I will not adhere anything to the end until I'm completely finished. So I am breaking rules today. Okay, let's pop this down. I want to keep that seam visible. I quite like that. Awesome. That's looking cool. Very good. Now I need to bring in my calendar, and I'm going to, I also want to stamp around it, but I will do that last. Seems like I'm doing everything back to front today. Bit of a rule breaking day today. So popping those on, those are my black dimensionals. Cool. Taking that off. And then I'm just going to pop this about over there. And the last thing I need to do is I just need to stamp with the Misty Moonlight. I just want to stamp off. Let's just see here. I might just pop some scrap there. Take that off. Okay, and I want to go this direction, so I'm taking about that much off. Perfect. All right. So of course you could add some bling. You could go absolutely ballistic with that. But I'm just going to leave it as it is, and I love the detail on that. You see the difference between using the cardstock. I love it with the cardstock. I do think it looks a lot more sophisticated, and it does create a lot of less interest as well there with the lines in the background. So the purpose of today's tutorial was to show you how to use the Days to Remember stamp set, and I do hope that you will give that a go and have a play with that. And remember, if you haven't yet done so, to subscribe to my channel if you're enjoying what I have provided for you as content. Click the bell so that you can get notifications, because I come into my craft room every Thursday night at 7 p.m. Remember, until we meet again, to stamp, eat, sleep, repeat. Bye!